Jordan lining it up. Now, Youngboy was seemingly using his rap riches to settle old scores from the streets of Baton Rouge from 10 years ago, but it would seem that despite the NBA crew reaching the upper echelons of the rap game, this didn't mean their long-running and biggest ops from TBG would be spared.
Now listen, they said 19 bodies, gang. 19 bodies, bro. Now, not they said, Trap Lord Ross said, for the grave. But I will say this. I'm not gonna drag Trap Lord Ross too much because these niggas get on the internet and act like they the ones who got all these motherfuckers killed. So then when I make a video about it, what you said, now I'm the bad guy. I don't know.
During 2019 and 2020, the beef between NBA and TBG would reach deadly new heights. On songs, Youngboy kept throwing shade at his old friends, like in the song Free D-Dog, released in April 2019, where he seems to imply that TBG used to run Baton Rouge, but now they can't claim that anymore, while proudly bragging how he had been getting so many people killed that he had made the whole city of Baton Rouge mad at him for putting so many big bags on people's heads. Unsurprisingly, TBG wasn't about to let this kind of disrespect go unpunished. The following month in May, Youngboy was booked to perform at Rolling Loud, the biggest rap festival series in the country, where his name would be found on the 4th row of Sunday's performers. It's hard to imagine Youngboy being so low on the billing now in 2025.
That's what I was going to say. Why is he so low?
When he's selling out stadiums back to back, but at this time in his career, he was still just a young and hungry rising star. And the festival taking place that year in Miami was stacked with other rap stars, many of these being the rap game's biggest artists at the time, descending on Florida to perform, including the likes of Lil Durk, Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, and Chief Keef. Funnily enough, one of the other artists who was there was Young Thug, the very same person who, according to some rumors, had actually blessed Youngboy's 4K Trey gang into the official Money Murder Blood Gang umbrella. Early Friday morning, as Youngboy was allegedly out partying with Young Thug, a shooting would take place on an interstate highway. TMZ would break the story, reporting how the target of the shooting had been Young Thug, but other outlets like the Miami Herald would later report how Youngboy had also been present. A couple months later, in June 2019, one of TBG's main rappers and alleged main shooters, Lit Yoshi, would release a song titled Cutter, where he would drop some very interesting bars about him and another TBG rapper, Seven Hardaway, catching their ops on an interstate and adding how Seven was driving while Yoshi was shooting, with fans on Reddit later connecting these lyrics to that Friday morning shootout. But unfortunately for Youngboy, his troubles in Miami were just getting started, and only a few days later, on Sunday the 12th of May, when he was supposed to be taking the stage at Rolling Loud, he was targeted by shooters in broad daylight at one of the most high-profile hotels in the whole of Florida, the Trump International Hotel and Beach Resort in Sunny Isles. As online sleuths would later put together, Youngboy had made a crucial mistake, leaving his geolocation on whilst tweeting, giving up his location to his
Stop it. Get some help.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
No. That nigga tweeted with his location on? That was a crazy mistake, folks. Somebody said, too, your location on. 2 hours later, they said your location on. Turn it off before they try to catch you lacking. That's crazy.
Opps. And as he and his entourage were about to make their way to the festival, they would be ambushed outside the hotel by assailants who pulled up in a black Cadillac Escalade. As shots were fired from the Escalade in the direction of Youngboy's entourage, it would trigger an immediate return of fire from members of his own NBA team who were carrying their own weapons. From here, complete chaos ensued as gunslingers from both parties engaged in a Wild West-style shootout in the middle of a busy tourist hotspot. By some miracle, Youngboy would again escape unscathed, while his girlfriend at the time would get hit on the shoulder, and 3 bystanders would also be grazed, including a 5-year-old child. But most tragically, however, one of the stray bullets would end up hitting a bystander named Mohammed Girardi, who would pass away from his injuries. After the shootout was over, and before the police and the news media would take over the crime scene, Youngboy would somehow manage to flee the scene and still make it to his performance at Rolling Loud, before he was ultimately hunted down by the police and arrested for violating his probation for allegedly taking part in the return of fire. When it came to the actual assailants, on the other hand, the Miami police were quick to make the connection that they were likely Youngboy's rivals from his home state of Louisiana, but their exact identities and motives would remain unknown.
What's up, baby? Known
for some time, although the online sleuths were quick to notice how Lit Yoshi had been posting himself on social media sliding around Miami, armed with the exact weaponry that the police would later connect to the shooters. Coming into 2020, the war would continue back in Baton Rouge, where on the 22nd of March 2020, a shooting would occur at the family home of 37-year-old NBA affiliate named Travis Parker, known in the streets as T-Baby. T-Baby was shot and killed, while a 62-year-old woman believed to be his mother would be wounded, but survived. In the aftermath of the shooting, fans would notice that TBG rapper Fredo Bang appeared to be trolling 4K Trey member YMM Captain by liking his tribute post to T-Baby, possibly hinting at TBG's involvement in the murder. Just like after Dump's killing, when Boulevard Quick was gunned down only months later in what many saw as retaliation, the revenge was about to come again, only this time it would only take 1 week. On Sunday the 29th of March,
I ain't gonna lie though, coming all the way to Miami and doing that to shorty ass in front of the Trump Hotel is fucking insane. And the fact that nobody got caught is even crazy.
A 36-year-old man was found shot to death in front of a Food Mart and gas station on the north side of Baton Rouge. Police would later identify the man as Jason Nixon, a well-known TBG affiliate better known by his nickname Dutch, who had often been seen alongside TBG artists like Fredo Bang, Lit Yoshi, and Boulevard Sleepy. Dutch was also apparently known in the streets of Baton Rouge as a certified stepper who had been putting work in for likely a couple of decades at this point. TBG members would post numerous tributes to Dutch on social media, while NBA and 4K Trey affiliates were exhilarated, with BBG Baby Joe immediately
I know y'all stupid ass hurting,
posting a story on Instagram with a caption saying how he knew that TBG were hurting, together with a foot emoji implying that 4K Trey had stepped on them, while Ben 10 would later rejoice during an Instagram live, pointing out how TBG now had 3 dead members who they can't get back.
Don't y'all got 3 dead members too? I never understood that about like dissing your dead ops. Like y'all got dead homies too. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't brag about having $1 million to a nigga who got $1 million. So it's like you can't brag about your ops homies dying when you got dead homies. It never made no sense to me.
He can't walk.
Am I tripping?
Hey, what fine? Your brother dead. 3 on dead, out 3.
They can't get him back.
Yeah, shit. What you say?
Also in online theories, 4K Trey has commonly been connected to at least 3 murders against TBG, the murder of Dutch being the 3rd. Youngboy himself would also make a similar reference in a song called 4K Trey 3-Style, which was officially released in 2022, but the actual recording time is somewhat unclear, with some sources claiming the song was actually recorded all the way back in 2019. But in the song, Youngboy raps how his TBG ops were repping off of one body that they caught from NBA, being Big Dump, whereas Youngboy's gang had killed 3 of their homies, G Money, Boulevard Quick, and TBG Dutch. The most interesting lyrics from Youngboy, however, would be on the song Trapped Out, which would be officially released on the 2025 compilation album More Leaks, but the song itself is likely much older. On this track, Youngboy first appears to reference the shooting in Miami, saying how they shot his whole car up before an infamous NBA member named Baba would step in. Baba, according to the wildest online rumors, is an actual contract killer with a rumored 10+ bodies, and according to these lyrics, he's the one who shot back and got the enemy off of Youngboy in the shootout at the Trump Hotel. Baba, real name Osama Eugene Manuel, and Youngboy would indeed both be later charged in relation to the shooting by Mohammed Jaradi's family in a civil court, which actually named Baba Osama as Youngboy's official security guard. But after these lyrics, Youngboy then continues rapping how people
He said them niggas shot up my whole car. Baba got them niggas off my ass. So yeah, Baba shot back. You know, these dumb motherfuckers go commit crimes and talk about the shit. I don't know.
must have also heard about someone who got killed while pumping gas, saying how he pointed him out and got him out, which could in fact be seen to be yet another reference to Dutch, the implication being that Dutch was in fact killed at a gas station as retaliation for that Miami shooting. In online rumors, certain specific 4K Trey members have even been connected to the murder, like Herm from NBA and Chine from the Vultures, with some Baton Rouge drillologists even making dedicated posts labeling Herm as the killer of Dutch. Both Herm and Chine have also participated in dissing Dutch personally following his death, with Herm rapping in his 2022 song Puff Puff how people say that he's a killer and how someone was acting like it was smoke until Herm and his partners rolled him up. Herm then making a devilish play on words by saying that he's now smoking a big Dutch, a double entendre referring to both the Dutch Master's blunt raps and TBG Dutch himself. Chine, on the other hand, would make several social media...
These niggas be Hall of Fame trollers, though. I give them that. It's like, how you come up with this shit so fast? Like, this nigga died 22 seconds ago. You got 17 memes, 3 posts, 5 tweets, a diss track, and 2 music videos.
Posts dissing Dutch. In one Instagram story, making his own version of the lyrics of Lil Durk's song Should've Ducked, where Durk raps how he gets as high as Duck, referring to his dead rival FBG Duck, with Chine writing how he gets as high as Dutch. In another post, he would take the disrespect even further, actually taking a picture at the very gas station where Dutch was killed, while adding a caption saying how he was at the same location where a gorilla had taken his last breath, referring to Dutch's status as a member of the TBG, aka Top Boy Gorillas. In his song Chase Down, Lit Yoshi would also rap some interesting lyrics that seem to point squarely at NBA and 4K Trey, as he first pays tribute to Dutch before saying how TBG caught someone in Yoshi's hood and did a drill, specifically mentioning a Jeep. Now, it's not exactly clear whether Yoshi means that he was sliding in a Jeep or his victims were, but interestingly, there was indeed one incident on April the 6th, 2020, only about a week after Dutch's murder, where Lit Yoshi and another man, allegedly Seven Hardaway, were caught on CCTV arriving at an apartment complex on the north side of Baton Rouge with a Jeep Cherokee, before allegedly opening fire on 3 people, one of these being none other than NBA member Lil Pap, real name DeAndre Fields, who would eventually be charged with the murder of G Money. Clearly then, Yoshi's lyrics seem to point to him very much holding NBA responsible for Dutch's murder. Still, officially the murder has remained unsolved, and even almost a full year after the murder in February 2021, local news would report how the police were still looking for a motive. Lit Yoshi himself, on the other hand, would eventually be charged with the shooting of Lil Pap and many others, getting hit with a staggering 7 counts of attempted murder, with even the Miami shooting targeting Youngboy eventually becoming part of the case.
Also, he did get locked up for that, so they did catch him for shooting the Miami shooting. Damn, somebody said, who want to hate on Youngboy? Shit, me. Fuck you talking about? This nigga talking about he in all this shit? All of this?
Eventually plead guilty, receiving a 15-year.
He got all that money, gang. That nigga got so much fucking money. I know he got at least 100 million. Boy, you get crazy as fuck. I only got a couple. I got about 4, 5. And nigga, from the day I made $10,000 was my last day ever going to the hood. Folding them grave, nigga. I don't want this nigga hundreds of millions of dollars, nigga. Do you think I'm finna be sitting in a street war with a bunch of y'all crazy as fuck,
that he has
bro.
Since tried to get overturned
y'all have lost
successfully,
marbles,
but despite one of the most fearsome shooters from TVG being taken off the streets, Youngboy's battles were far from over, and no doubt the attention he was getting from his ops in the streets was only made worse by the frequent lyrics that he was dropping, bragging about being responsible for these murders. In 2020, Youngboy dropped several songs where his body count seemed to rise rapidly. Of course, this was likely because
April 2020, he said 4 bodies. August 2020, he said 7 bodies. September 2020, he said 5 bodies. September 2020, he said 7 murders. Damn.
Youngboy dropped several songs where his body count seemed to rise rapidly. Of course, this was likely because many of those tracks just happened to drop that year, not because of all the murders actually occurred during that time. In April 2020, the song Step On was released, together with a music video to promote Youngboy's 38 Baby 2 mixtape that dropped later that month. In the song, Youngboy claimed to now have 4 bodies, which based on our list so far, could be referring to any combination of them, depending on when this song was recorded. Then, in September 2020, Youngboy dropped the song Big Bankroll as part of his Top album. However, according to Genius, this song was actually already teased by Youngboy as far back as July the 29th, 2019. In this song, Youngboy appeared to imply to already have 5 bodies, and by late 2020, the public body count had grown to 7, as mentioned on the song Hurt Somebody, which Youngboy reportedly premiered on his Instagram Live on August the 22nd, 2020. However, the much more famous example is of course the song Dead Trolls, which he released on the same Top album as the song Big Bankroll, dropping the music video for the song the same day the album was released in September 2020. Here, Youngboy even specifies that all of these 7 murders supposedly happened in his hometown of Baton Rouge. Interestingly, the song has been seen as a diss towards the rapper King Von, who Youngboy was beefing heavily with around this time, and King Von would famously also claim to have 7 bodies of his own. Now, I'm pretty much the
Let me see what he
around this time, and King Von would
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now how many you niggas got?
famously also claimed to have 7 bodies of his own. Now, I'm pretty much the internet's leading expert on King Von at this point, as I broke down all 7 of his rumored murders that he'd been involved in a 3.5-hour video where I labeled him a serial killer. It's my personal opinion that King Von did indeed personally murder 7 people as part of his own participation in a Chicago gang war. However, if you want to go as far as to include murders that he might have ordered, like that of Tuckerville's Man Man, aka Get Right, or murders that he allegedly funded, like the hit on FBG Duck, you could make an argument that he might be responsible for 9 to 12 murders. But during 2020, when Von burst onto the scene amid claims that he had 7 bodies under his belt, he quickly became the most buzzing gangster rapper in the scene. This just so happened to be the time when Youngboy was beginning to drop lyrics where he too would brag about having 7 bodies. It seems to me that there was a degree of insecurity on both sides when it came to Von and Youngboy, leading to a twisted rivalry and competition about who was the biggest killer. But with Youngboy, it's safe to say that things are much more complicated, because as he has also said in his songs, he wasn't the actual trigger man in any of these murders, but rather just the one paying for them.
So why is he talking on Instagram and songs like he killed somebody? That's weird. You like, and I'm not saying, trust me, my nigga. Mula is the one nigga that's gonna tell you, nigga, you ain't cool because you killed the nigga, motherfucker. That don't make you cooler because you killed more people than the next nigga. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, all this shit I heard, and I ain't heard about Youngboy pulling the trigger on nobody except 2 people. He had 2 attempts. It's just weird to me, gang. Like, why you want clout that bad, bro? You got all the clout in the world. You got platinum songs, every fucking song platinum. You got $100 billion and shit. Like, why? Why does that matter, gang? You know what I'm saying?
I believe that King Von disliked Youngboy because he didn't believe his claims of having bodies to be valid, considering that he was paying hitmen and claiming the murders his crew was doing. Unlike King Von, who had seemingly got his hands dirty and personally killed 7 times. Unfortunately, the rivalry between Youngboy and Von would get very complicated, as Von would provoke Youngboy by taking photos with the mother of his child, Jania. Interestingly, after this, one of Youngboy's most feared enforcers, NBA Ben 10, would actually promise to kill Von for what
word just came back. He said he gonna make sure all y'all die for what she did. He say that's on his little boys. That is weird, bro. You killing somebody over some ass, man. They talking about that in the first part that I'm gonna post later. I'm probably gonna post both these videos today, but in the first part earlier, they talking about they killed G Money. I ain't hear about G Money doing nothing to y'all. Why y'all go kill G Money? He ain't did nothing. He ain't did nothing to nobody. What the fuck?
Jania did with him, but ultimately that wouldn't even.
You gonna try to kill a nigga because your bitch fucking.
NBA Ben 10 would actually promise to kill Von for what Jania did with him, but ultimately that wouldn't even be necessary, as unfortunately King Von underestimated the situation when he attempted to embarrass Youngboy by beating up his artist, Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, who had signed to the NBA label. As the story goes, Quando was being protected that night by Lil Tim, a notorious shooter in his own right with rumored bodies of his own in his home city of Savannah, Georgia. Lil Tim ended up shooting Von dead that night, protecting Quando Rondo's safety and arguably Youngboy's reputation. But for the purposes of this video, we're not going to count King Von's killing as a body on Youngboy's tally.
Youngboy is not a reason to kill somebody though, gang. You feel me? Mari 2 times said, no, G Money was dissing. I agree, but they was homies though. Like, a nigga can't diss me and make me go kill him. Like, you know what I'm saying? If a nigga shooting at you and your mama, or a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Nigga saying this, saying that, then that makes sense to me. But I ain't see G Money say we gonna kill y'all when we see y'all. They was just talking shit. He was talking shit about having sex with his sister and stuff like that. Like, I ain't see, unless I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. You feel me? But like, I don't know, right?
Certainly taken a liking to Lil Tim as a result of this though, seemingly bringing him on the Master Tour and using him as frontline protection after seeing him prove himself on Von. But even brushing aside taking out Chicago's most feared killer and adding yet another certified killer to his own entourage, unfortunately for Youngboy's enemies, his contract business.
Then he gonna take a picture next to some shit that say stop the violence and then make a video about how many bodies he got.
Continue like clockwork, because within 2 years of King Von's death, the number of bodies that he claimed responsibility for had almost doubled, rising to a staggering 12 bodies by 2022. The year that this song dropped, where he claimed to have 12 bodies, was an incredibly violent year, where an insane total of 6 of Youngboy's enemies would all end up losing their lives back to back, and vowed to add more bodies to his tally. He famously rapped the chilling lines in his 2021 song Forgiato that a rapper, most likely Von, wanted him dead, but he'd taken their soul, and that at this point he had over 7 kills to his name and intended to surpass 10 bodies so that he could begin counting murders on his toes.
But why does he keep talking about bodies when he didn't kill anybody? Am I missing something, chat? Why does he keep talking about
in the summer of
bodies
2021, there would be yet another murder that's been connected to Youngboy's 4K tray, but this one has by and large remained a mystery with very little information available online. But here's what we do know. On the night of June the 11th, 2021, 18-year-old Cornell McDuffey, also known in his circle as Nell, was involved in a single car crash on East I-10 near Essen Lane around 11:34 p.m. Immediately following the crash, officers found McDuffey lying in a grassy area near the crash scene, while 3 others attempted to flee on foot. Subsequently, Ultimately, the 3 people were arrested, but they were uncooperative, while McDuffey was transported to a nearby hospital where he later died from his injuries. The police connected the crashed car to a shooting that had taken place right before the crash about 3 miles west on the 2200 block of Ballast Drive, which is why the local newspaper The Advocate would first report that Nell had died due to a gunshot wound. However, an autopsy would reveal no gunshot wounds, meaning that Nell's fatal injuries were in fact from the car crash itself. Following Cornell's death, his balloon release was held in Gardir, one of the strongholds of the 300 Alliance, and later on, members of 300, including their perhaps most well-known rapper, Rel Bang, would engage in an interesting conversation with some 4K Train members on the Clubhouse app, during which Youngboy's alleged cousin, Hu Gang D, aka Scully, seemed to reference a shooting incident like the one that had preceded Nell's death, but calling the dead person Cornelius, possibly mispronouncing Cornell's name while saying that he had put the iron on that boy and gunned him down.
Hey, look, hanging out the one that's trying to flush him on the interstate. I'm telling you.
Hey, now you were hanging out that window. So now you were hanging out that window.
Man, look, hey, say,
Pull up that 06.
Hey, look. Hey, call Ben. Call him.
Man, you boy. Ain't your work, man. Stop rapping.
I don't do no rapping. I don't got to rap.
Hey, and I put your people Cornelius up.
Hey, where you at?
Put your hand on that boy.
Yeah, you ain't kill that man. You ain't kill that man. You hit that man in his leg.
Why are you on Clubhouse talking about who you killed? Like that shit. These motherfuckers is slow as hell. Slow as hell.
Hey,
What's up? What the fuck is up with this title? Well, sir, the video that we're reacting to is called 19 Murders for Youngboy, NBA's Top Killers. And we're reacting to videos where Youngboy says he has 12 bodies. That's what the title is about, bro. It's about the video we're reacting to, bro.
Gun them down. Hit him with that.
You ever had one of them days where everything seems to go wrong? I mean, you're just trying to grab a cup of coffee and BAM! You're tangled in a pile of boxes because the shelf is broken. And just like that, I realized sometimes accidents at work are more than just funny stories. They can actually change everything. Trying to handle a workplace injury on your own? It's like trying to fix the broken shelf yourself. More chaos, more headaches, and it's no guarantee that you'll get what you deserve. You got paperwork, insurance calls, and someone always telling you to wait. It's enough to make you wish you had a secret weapon. But here's the thing, there's a team of people that fights for people just like you. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, has been winning cases when everybody else said it couldn't be done. In Florida, someone got $12 million after a work accident, even though the insurance was ready to offer just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a worker was awarded $26 million, which was 40 times the initial offer. These are not just numbers. They're real victories for real people, all thanks to the team that fights hard for justice. More than 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, like a legal squad ready to jump into action. Yeah. They've recovered over $25 billion for clients. And they have a long history of helping workers get what they're owed. Because when you're injured at work, you shouldn't have to go at it alone. You can just click the link below or the QR code that's on your screen. No endless waits or confusing forms. Just a quick way to start protecting your rights today. So if you had an accident on the job, do not risk doing it alone. You can check out Morgan & Morgan, because even in the toughest workplace accidents, a strong team makes all the difference. And trust me, there's a reason why they're America's largest injury law firm. It's because they fight for the people just like you.
He's in the leg for dancing around this. This for real. Hey, say real, man. Hey, man,
Hey, say that.
Yeah, he gotta be a bitch ass nigga because he play basketball.
Man, who gang these boys? Like,
Doing too much screaming out here.
Yeah, man, put that iron on the plate like a blind.
yeah.
You niggas is crazy.
Boy, where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
Because of this, even Redditors would claim D to be the killer of Cornelius, although it seems that in reality, whether D had been part of the shooting incident that preceded Nell's death, the real cause of his death was the car crash. Hoogan D's nickname Scully is something he seems incredibly proud of, and during interviews he's inferred that he earned this nickname through either shooting someone in the skull or catching a skull via a shooting.
The nickname Scully.
From that first answer, from this tattoo, I'm just saying it like that. The gun, shooting the skull.
Yeah.
It's good.
Perhaps he's referring to a different murder, or maybe he's false claiming the murder of Cornelius.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Stop it. Get some help.
They call you Scully, you claiming bodies on Clubhouse, and you got a tattoo of a gun going in the skull.
Cornell, but arguably, if shooting the car up caused the death directly, then you could argue it's legitimate for him to claim responsibility for the murder. But what we do know is that Scully had discussed numerous incidents where he was shot and almost lost his life, as he proudly states that at least one person who shot him is indeed dead.
That situation when you got shot in the face, that was the craziest that you...
That did.
Oh.
He ain't coming back. You just leave him in the past.
So why are you...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
don't be surprised if Youngboy get locked up for a RICO in the next 5-10 years. Don't be surprised. Please don't.
Another 4K Trey member called Hoogang Taylife, or Tayski, whose name will become very familiar as this video progresses, also rapped in his 2024 song Blockbender, featuring the young 4K Trey affiliate 38 Young'un, how someone had tried to follow them on the interstate, so they shot them with a Draco, seemingly describing the events that preceded the death of Nell. Ultimately, before the year would come to an end, the 4K Trey shooters would allegedly catch one more body, this being yet another occasion where the motive for the murder went years back, proving that when it comes to NBA 4K Trey, Get Back really has no expiry date.
This the 9th body they say Youngboy got something to do with.
Like the murder of Lil Dave's alleged killer, the motive of the next murder would also stem back to Youngboy's past, more specifically, the murder of his cousin Boozilla in November 2016. The murder was never officially solved, but rumors quickly begun circulating who might have been responsible. One name that surfaced early was FL Dusa, a rapper from a clique called Forever Loyalty, who would later become closely affiliated with TBG, with Dusa dropping numerous songs with TBG artists like Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi. Dusa and Boozilla had been beefing.
Look at that. What the nigga teeth at? I just see 2 teeth at the top, bro. Where the nigga teeth at?
Heavily in the lead up to his death, with Boozilla dissing Dusa in his July 2016 song Forgive Me, rapping how Dusa was scared to walk through the South and that they were laying down the law in their area. And following Boozilla's death, the comment section of the song's music video would fill up with replies mocking him for making these statements, which implied that Dusa had in fact not been scared to walk through the South and had in fact come through to kill Boozilla. But despite these rumors, Dusa was never officially connected to Boozilla's murder. In early 2017, the Baton Rouge police would arrest 2 men in connection to the murder, Trayshawn Coates and Monty Carey, but these arrests wouldn't amount to much, as both men were ultimately not indicted by the grand jury, who left the door open for more evidence to be found in the future. Unfortunately, such evidence would seemingly never come, and officially the case remains unsolved.
Exactly, bro. Devon just hit it right on the nail. You can be arrested and charged for a murder from however long ago. So why would you ever in your life get on Instagram talking about a murder that you did?
However, on the 10th of December 2021, a murder would...
And then I used to think that niggas who did that really didn't kill nobody because y'all would be locked up. And then these niggas start getting locked up for the actual murder that they talking about. And it's like, okay. Like, y'all short yellow bus kids, for real. Like, on bro grade. Like, y'all
take place that, at least in online theories, would later be connected to the murder of Boozilla. That night, around 6 p.m., a 22-year-old man named Michael Riley was gunned down while sitting in a car at the intersection of River Road and Brightside Drive. But what would make this murder particularly tragic was that Riley had been sitting on the back seat of the car together with his 5-year-old nephew, who would also get hit during the shooting. And both Riley and his nephew would die from their injuries.
Killing kids.
We're told the victims were 22-year-old Michael Riley and his nephew, 5-year-old Carson Riley. Officials say both victims were passengers in a car.
The police would soon come to a conclusion that this had been a targeted attack, but they weren't aware of any suspects or motives.
Individuals that pulled up next to this vehicle and opened fire intended to shoot the individuals that were in this car.
Police not yet able to pinpoint a motive or any suspects.
This, the latest investigation in a record year for homicides.
This double murder too has gone
Unfortunately, somebody said yes, but it's all online. See, detectives might not be able to use an interview to get you arrested. Maybe you don't do a life sentence because you said something in an interview, but maybe a detective was looking at a completely different suspect until they heard what you said on your fucking interview, and then they be like, oh, well, let's check his phone records, let's check his whereabouts, let's check the cameras and see if they fit the description here, let's check people he know, let's check his friends, let's go interview them and see if we can get a witness. Like, that's how cases get solved, because stupid ass, like, that's dumb.
Unsolved, but online sleuths would eventually come up with some interesting theories. A key role in these theories points to yet another 4K Trey affiliate called BB4L Nolan, a son of a legendary underground rapper from Baton Rouge called Percy Keith, and allegedly a nephew of none other than the rapper Kevin Gates. Nolan had been making a career as a rapper since about 2019, when he was released from juvie at just 14 years old, but it was his 2022 song, Come Here, that would pique the interest of online sleuths as he rapped some truly wild lyrics about catching someone in traffic before adding how it's F that little boy too. The streets would talk, and eventually rumors begun spreading online that these lyrics were Nolan talking about the murder that was Get Back for Boozilla. And given how detailed these lyrics were, it was only a matter of time before they were connected to the double murder of Michael Riley, who was also known by his nickname Smiz, as well as the death of his nephew. But the most shocking thing is that Youngboy himself would allegedly mention and confirm these murders in songs that released over the next year. The first example came only 2 months later in the track Neighborhood Superstar from his joint album with DaBaby titled Better Than You. In this song, Youngboy would brag about turning the beats of his music into homicides and ending his second verse outright saying that he left 9 bodies in his town. However, the hit on Smiz that took the life of his 5-year-old nephew would seemingly be directly referenced much later in his December 2022 song titled This Not a Song, This For My Supporters, where Youngboy updates his body count to 12 before adding how there's also 1 child dead, who Youngboy seemingly isn't including in his overall body count, this child allegedly being
12 bodies and 1 child dead. Stop the violence. What the fuck I said.
the nephew of Riley, with Youngboy then adding how he said to stop the violence, almost
real killers don't talk about what they did. People be lying. I used to think so too, bro. But these motherfuckers are slow, gang. I'm trying to tell you.
Just as if implying that his body count is not something he wants to brag about, but rather just the unfortunate reality of the situation that his gangster rap career had placed him in. This song appeared to echo a broader message that Youngboy had been pushing in late 2022. Around the same time, in November, he even posted a somewhat strange video on social media, grinning from ear to ear while repeatedly urging his followers to stop the violence, which some people took as a serious plea, while others thought that Youngboy was simply trolling.
Hey, stop the violence. Hey, look at me. I could promise you it's a bigger side of life. Stop the violence. You could be a rich, you hear me? I could promise you. I'm talking about, I ain't gonna tell you what's in my bank account, but hey, stop the violence. You hear me? Thank you.
The song, This Not a Song, This For My Supporters, as a whole is one of the strangest songs in Youngboy's discography, consisting of over 8 minutes of Youngboy's rapping and talking that often sounds like a pure stream of consciousness, as Youngboy then continues the lyrics by implying that he doesn't actually want to beef with his ops and hurt them, before seemingly giving his quick analysis of violence in Baton Rouge, connecting it to the city's crippling poverty. He then asks for forgiveness from God, saying how he misled some people, perhaps referring to both his fans who might be influenced by his popular murder music and his young shooters back in Baton Rouge that had been killing people in the name of his 4K Trey gang, such as BB4L Nolan, who would end up catching an unrelated murder charge in the summer of 2025. The fans weren't necessarily buying the stop the violence message though, suggesting that this was really just a self-centered effort to shake off attention from three-letter agencies like the FBI and ATF that might have been looking into these bodies, while one local member would even note how YB was too up on the scoreboard to now be preaching about peace. But whether Youngboy was being serious or not, his message was likely influenced by the events of 2022, when the violence around 4K Trey would surge into overdrive, starting with the beef between 2 gangs mentioned earlier, the Vultures and the Bleeders, who had already
I remember this story.
Gotten into a war in 2021 that ended up claiming a staggering number of people in less than 1 year, eventually also drawing in Youngboy's 4K Trey, causing a gruesome double murder in early 2022 that would shock the entire city.
I remember when this shit happened. True Bleeda.
Now, if you want to learn more in depth about the beef between the Vultures and the Bleeders in Baton Rouge, check out the earlier videos I did about this gang war on my other channels. But for the purposes of this video, let's keep things short. According to Reddit historians, the beef between these 2 gangs was a result of the Bleeders affiliating with gangs that the Vultures were already beefing with. One of these gangs is known as SOG, or Sleep or Grind, from Sherwood. According to some theories, things escalated after the Vultures would rob one of SOG's members of their chain, which they would then brag about on social media, with an original Reddit post from the 19th of April 2021 showing the Vultures rapper.
So did you rob them? This is what I'll be asking questions. Did you rob the niggas to make some money off? Did you take his chain because you wanted to make some money? Or did you take his chain because you wanted some clout? I'm starting to think that the whole gangster, whatever the gang, all that shit is only for clout at this point. Because if I'm robbing somebody, that means I'm broke as hell. And you feel me? Like, I don't have nothing else. I don't have no other choice right now. I'm desperate. Like, I'm super broke. So I'm robbing you to get some money. I'm not robbing you to get on Instagram and talk about it. Do your homework.
YKWHIFV posting a picture of the chain together with the caption, "What's this?" This would allegedly cause an SOG member called Sherwood Marty, an old affiliate of TBG members like G Money, to put a bounty on Vulture's members' heads. And only 4 days later, on the 23rd of April, a man named Aaron Batiste, also known as Zip from the Vultures, was shot and killed on the 12,000 block of Plank Road after he had just celebrated his 29th birthday. His killer was seemingly never caught, but the Bleeders would take part in dissing him, like the rapper Hot Boy Do, who would make an Instagram caption thanking God for letting him see 20 because he knew someone who had died on their birthday. The revenge would seemingly come only 2 days later when 25-year-old Devonta Ennis, aka Vitae from the Bleeders, was gunned down on the north side, and his alleged killer was arrested and eventually even convicted of this murder before the conviction was ultimately overturned in 2025. But regardless of who was really behind this murder, the Bleeders blamed the Vultures, and what followed was a brutal wave of alleged back-to-back revenge killings, which would also eventually drag in the NBA 4K Trey crews directly into this deadly rivalry. The first get back took place on October 2021 when 25-year-old Jermorius Ferguson, a brother of the Vulture rapper YKWHIFV and another member known as Debug, was outside of a home in East Baton Rouge when someone shot at him from a passing vehicle, injuring him seriously, and he would eventually pass away months later. The police later noted that they didn't consider Ferguson to have been the intended target of the shooting, perhaps implying that V or Debug might have been the actual targets of the shooting. Later that month, the Bleeders allegedly struck again when 23-year-old Malakar Demulin, better known as the rapper YKWHIF Car.
What does that mean, YKWHIF Car? What the fuck does that mean? Like, that's why I be thinking y'all be slow. These little boys be slow. Like, because what does that mean?
Was shot in his car in a Holiday Inn parking lot. This was followed 3 days later by the murder of the rapper and SOG member Mu Gotti, real name Jamonte Davis.
Does that mean you know what the fuck going on? You know what I'm here for? Like who names theyself that?
At this point, 4K Trey were already indirectly involved in the beef through their close connections with certain Vultures members and their rivalry with the 300 Alliance, who in turn had become affiliated with the Bleeders, and who at this point weren't just directly beefing with Youngboy's brothers gang, the DHG, but also openly dissing 4K Trey members, like the 300 rapper Rel Bang, rapping in the August 2020 song Smoke Talk how he plans on hitting Ben 10 from NBA with 10 bullets. However, it would end up being the next incident that would get the 4K Trey crew directly involved, as Youngboy's right-hand man Ben 10 and his cousin Marvin Batiste were shot at while driving on a highway in Prairieville, just southeast of Baton Rouge. The shooting, which police quickly determined to be a targeted act of retaliation, left Ben, the apparent target, wounded, while his cousin Marvin was killed. The Bleeders would seemingly hint at being responsible a few months later, as Bleeder member 40 Glock U rapped on the song Gator Pack how someone got killed but the target had been Ben. Ben would reply to the dissing, saying how his cousin was not in the streets and therefore didn't.
Also, they killed his cousin, but they missed Ben. I think I do remember hearing about this.
Deserve to be killed.
Yeah, these thinking they really something. Hey, my cousin was a football player. He ain't even carrying a gun. You kill somebody who even like this for real. He know how to fight, that's it. Never shot nobody, never popped nothing, never did no gangster. Man, you ain't never seen no real, yeah. I'm a headhunters. That was my cousin. Come on, man.
Didn't y'all kill somebody kid? So what's the difference? Y'all kill somebody kid. What the fuck is the difference? Like,
I'm just getting tired of every song, every Instagram talk about my cousin. Man, bro, that was not like that. You know I'm at every day. You know what? I'm at every day. Like, be for real. We ain't thinking. You wanna post your people? We post ours, long live them. Post yours.
Still, later in December, another alleged cousin of Ben 10, 25-year-old Darius Joseph, also known as Jug the Ghost from the Vultures, was seemingly killed. Now, there are no news reports about his murder, but on the day of his death, there was a drive-by shooting that reportedly killed 1 and injured 2, one of those possibly being Jug, who then died later that night, while the person who was immediately reported dead was 62-year-old Walter White, who according to the news reports was not the intended target. For Ben 10, Jug's death was seemingly the final straw. In his 2023 song Make 'Em Step, Ben 10 rapped how he had been spending his money on cars and dropping bags for Jug, seemingly implying that he had put money on people's heads to avenge Jug's death. During the funeral for Jug, on the other hand, one Vultures member would say to the camera how they're going 5 for 5, adding how 1 was down and 4 was hiding. That 1 perhaps referring to the dead Bleeders member Vitae, while the 4 remaining Bleeders members who the Vultures were targeting would soon become clear. Still, in December 2021, Ben 10 would get into a heated argument on Clubhouse with the Bleeders' most popular rapper, 18-year-old True Bleeda, real name Dante Dorsey, during which True Bleeda would accuse Ben of being a fake gangster who hadn't shot or killed anyone.
Gangsters on my with a hat. Who you ever shoot? I ain't kill nobody. Stop talking like that, then. Man, I'm a whole hoe. You can't talk like that, man. Only reason you talk like that cause why I'm a hoe. Why I met though. I'm a hoe, but never why I met though. Never did that. Don't matter. I'm a hoe. We know that already, bro. And the never did nothing but talk good as a. I'm sad.
Y'all, these niggas is weird, bro.
These
motherfuckers is short yellow bus kids.
They be them same niggas getting whooped from South.
Who said that us kicking 10? Who said that? Go with them.
Then, in January 2022, the Bleeders released what was perhaps their most disrespectful song and music video yet, Pick Your Partner Up, a direct shot at the Vultures.
Shit.
In the song, True Bleeda's brother, Co-Bleeda, aka Oakboy Coco, would rap how people switch the Vultures down to see if they can really fly, while another Bleeder rapper called Peasy would rap how they've been killing their Opps ever since Vitae died, implying how they had indeed been behind many murders against the Vultures. But their luck was about to run out, and on the 25th of February, while True Bleeda, Co-Bleeda, and some of their friends were leaving the Mall of Louisiana after a shopping spree.
Was this a picture they was at the mall right here?
To February, while True Bleeda, Co-Bleeda, and some of their friends were leaving the Mall of Louisiana after a shopping spree, they were ambushed by what seemed like a planned assassination crew, who arrived with 2 cars and opened fire on the car of True Bleeda and the others, killing True Bleeda and his friend Cliff, real name Clifton Lindsay, on the scene, while injuring 2 others. And a gruesome video showing the aftermath of the hit was captured at the scene. Interestingly, after this truly shocking incident, it wasn't the Vultures who were doing most of the dissing, but rather none other than Youngboy's 4K Trey crew personally. Youngboy's brother B-Way Youngie would post a story right after the incident saying LOL with a laughing emoji, and also seemingly trolling everyone by liking a tribute post made for Bleeda. B-Way had a very personal reason to hate True Bleeda, as he had allegedly been shot by him in the past. Ben 10, who had just been arguing with True Bleeda online a few months earlier, posted himself on Instagram listening to True Bleeda's music, and filmed himself walking in that Mall of Louisiana while taunting how he can't go out like them other boys.
And I go out like them other boys. 3 deep, you heard me? So
yes, you can go out like them other boys. Yes, you can.
I sent Nell through some shoes. He got like no. I got Tay with me, cause I can't go out like them other boys. Yeah, fat. Yeah, right. Thinking Instagram. What's that, gangster? Yeah, that's what I am. I ain't on location in that, man. Being in the mall. Yeah, I'm being.
4K Trey members would also reference the incident in their music. NBA Big B rapped in the song I Go, featuring P. Youngin, how they caught their Opps.
I'm lost for words. Y'all know I got a big ass mouth. I like to talk.
Flipping and killed 2, but all of them should have died. Herm's entire verse on the song, Soul Snatcher with Big B, can also be seen as a reference to the killing of True Bleeda, as he raps how they got the drop up on them boys, and how the Opps friends had been crying on Instagram afterward, which seems to be a reference to the Bleeders rapper 54 Don Dada. Herm also rapped how it was all fun and games when their Opps were claiming the murder of his friend.
Now, why would you do that to yourself? You gonna get on Instagram recording yourself crying over your dead homie, knowing that they gonna troll you, bro.
For 54 Don Dada. Herm also rapped how it was all fun and games when their Opps were claiming the murder of his friend, which could be a reference to Marvin or Jug. But then the tables turned as Herm.
You hype killings, bro. That's corny, rat cornball. I hype killings. Every time somebody dies, I say how stupid it is. I do the exact opposite of hype. Get your weird ass on somewhere. Nigga just be wanting attention on in the fucking chat.
Gave money to some young members to slide back, seemingly referencing the murder of True Bleeda and Cliff. Fans even speculated that Youngboy himself was referencing True Bleeda's murder in the song 4K Trey Baby, where he first states how his crew are killing or zipping their ops in the gang war before describing sending 30 shots through somebody's car door. Not just describing exactly what happened, but also seemingly taking responsibility for sending this hit. While the music video for the song begins with a scene that seems to portray 4K Trey member Who Gang D giving Youngboy's instructions to two masked up shooters, who then pull off a drive-by like the very one that killed True Bleeda. Then, in April 2022, a few months after the gruesome double murder, the Vulture member Debug, real name Demetrion Grimm, whose brother Gmo had allegedly been killed by the Bleeders, was arrested and charged with the murders of True Bleeda and Cliff. However, in a surprising turn of events, which echoed what had happened to Boozilla's killers, the police couldn't find enough evidence, and the grand jury declined to formally charge him.
I told y'all, I think Youngboy got to deal with the devil, bro. Because how the fuck do these... Like, this man ain't got away with all of this shit. Like, this is halfway impossible.
He would continue to live the good life, traveling the country with his brother YKWHIFV, who seemed like he was about to sign a deal with Youngboy's NBA label. Meanwhile, on Reddit, the online sleuths would gather lists about all the people who had allegedly been on the True Bleeda hit. These allegedly including both Debug and his brother, the Vultures rapper V, the 4K Trey member Who Gang Tay Life, and two other Vultures members called 1012 and CJ, as well as another 4K Trey member called Oaktown J, also known by the menacing...
Damn, it took 75 niggas to kill two people? Shit, they sent the whole fucking SWAT team?
Name Headstone, who according to some Reddit expiry date.
Oh, shit. I just reversed this shit on accident, y'all. I'm blue. I think we was over here. Yeah, we was right here.
YKWHIFV, who seemed like he was about to sign a deal with Youngboy's allegedly been on the Tree member called Oaktown J, also known by the menacing name Headstone, who according to some Redditors actually plays one of the shooters in Youngboy's 4K Trey Baby music video. But while the charges against Debug wouldn't stick, he too would eventually meet street justice, as he was killed in a 2024 triple shooting that we'll discuss more later. But meanwhile, after the murders of True Bleeda and Cliff, it would only take a few months for another body to drop, as 4K Trey's old rivals, the TMH gang, would end up losing another member.
Okay, that's where we stopped the fucking video. I got 30 more minutes of this video. I did 2 parts, so I'm probably going to post both parts right after this live. I appreciate y'all for this W stream. I'm going to get my ass the hell on. Shout out to Chauncey Simmons for the $2 super chat. Said I'm slacking on the vlogs. I got you, brother. I got you, brother. I got you, brother. I got you, brother. We're going to watch this. Do not go to Trap Lord Ross channel and watch this video. Wait till tomorrow. We're going to get back on live and we're going to watch the rest of this shit together. Okay? Do you hear my instructions? Okay? Is that okay for you? Yes, I'm about to get the fuck out of here. I'm tired. This bright ass light is hurting the shit out of my eyes. And I got videos to post, man. I wish I could stay on here for this motherfucker. But my wife cooking. So I'm finna go get me some good food. Roll me some thunky thunk and you know, skate. I love y'all though. I appreciate y'all. We're going to get back on live damn near every day. At least Monday through Friday. But yeah, skate.